Who are you? What's your school and major? Hi, my name is Idil and my major is financial mathematics at TMU University. I'm also a first generation Somali, born and raised in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and I've always loved Somali culture and wanted to learn more and do a project regarding it. What's a project that you pursued in this course? Where was the project at the beginning of the semester and where is the project now? One thing I particularly enjoyed about Somali culture is the clothing. Specifically, we have a dress referred to as bati, and it's a traditional, essential part of casual loungewear amongst Somali and other ethnicities as well. Something I've noticed is that there's not always easy access to this garment, as there are very few shops around the city, and it can be kind of inconvenient to get to, especially if you're not local in the community. So opposed to like other cultural attire where I'll see it's more readily accessible. So for my project, I really just wanted to create a way to make the Somali Bati more accessible to people who may not live in big cities, and I wanted to do this in the form of a Shopify store. How was your journey like? How much encouragement did you get from your peers and others? I found this journey quite memorable. I think the experience in this course was very unique and very unlike any other course/project I've ever done. The journey, as expected, was challenging at times because due to the format of the course, it did require more commitment. Although I think it was very beneficial as it really allowed me to push myself and do something I normally would not have been able to achieve otherwise. There was consistently so much encouragement and support from classmates. During our squad sessions, we spent like every other week updating each other on what's going on and our progress and setbacks. So being able to get this advice and different opinions on some challenges that I was facing was very beneficial. First, because obviously I get to hear solutions from other people, but also even just having that dialogue back and forth sometimes inspires my own solutions or sometimes inspires me to come up with things that I wouldn't normally have come up with just thinking about it on my own. What were the setbacks that gave you the biggest lessons, and what were some other lows and highs? I would say that the setback that gave me the biggest lesson would be when I was struggling to find vendors and suppliers. This gave me the biggest lesson because I was genuinely starting to doubt if I would be able to complete this project or not. And being in this kind of stressful situation taught me how to deal with uncertainty and the power of perseverance, as well as grit and resilience, and not giving up when things get difficult. It also taught me to believe in myself and try different methods when you're faced with a challenge, and that there's always an alternative route to do things, so never to get kind of stuck in one way if it doesn't work out. The first plan isn't always the only plan, is something that I've learned. Some other highs and lows would be specifically a high. So when I was able to finally settle on a supplier after a long journey of researching and going back and forth. This was big for me because most of the course I was trying to find a suitable supplier, and that was a big challenge. Another high was just finally building my website. So this was very significant for me because it gave me kind of more of a materialized view of the project that I was able to share with others. What did you learn from the end users, customers, audiences, and beneficiaries? Some feedback from end users was through comments and in person. So I got a few positive comments when I started uploading content regarding my page, regarding my product. And I was able to get an idea on the types of designs that were commonly liked by potential clients. So I did notice certain designs were more favored. So that was really good feedback that I got. Also, I did get some feedback regarding shipping. So some people who were interested did get back to me saying that they did want to come pick up the product, and that was really interesting because I noticed a lot more people were asking that versus wanting to order. So that kind of gave me an alternative thing to think about, like if I could possibly offer that. So that was like some useful feedback and tips that I learned. What did you learn about yourself? So one really important thing that I've learned about myself recently and during this project was that sometimes I'll tend to overestimate my ability to complete tasks. So I'll set out a to-do list and I'll be very optimistic and have a lot of goals. And sometimes I can't achieve all of that. So to overcome this, I've started to really break down my goals into smaller ones that tend to be more manageable and easier to predict the time it would take. And by doing this, I can stay motivated and maintain the momentum throughout the whole project, not just in this course, but it's something I learned throughout other aspects of my my life. So another thing I've discovered is that I do tend to sometimes give up too quickly on a specific plan once I encounter some difficulties or friction. So to combat this, I've adopted an uncertainty attitude mindset where I force myself to continue pursuing an idea much longer, even if I'm unsure of if it will be successful. So for example, when my initial supplier selection fell through and I wasn't able to partner up with any of them, I didn't give up. And normally I would just kind of say like, okay, this isn't possible, but I kept going and I made a new list and I kept reaching out, and that really taught me the power of perseverance. Lastly, I also benefited greatly from regular reevaluating my goals. So that's something I learned about myself, that I should on a weekly basis or monthly basis kind of go back on the goals that I set for myself and kind of adjust them as need be, and that really helps me stay motivated. How did you advance in your field/industry? So the main way I was able to advance in my field/industry was just gaining a lot of industry knowledge. This project was very different from my regular field and industry of what I'm pursuing in school. So being able to just really learn and do a lot of research and understand the processes and operations of this field and industry is how I advanced personally, and also being able to finally put out a product. What are the next steps for you and your project? The next steps for me would be ordering my full shipment and adding specific products to my website. I would like to also focus on networking and in-person events, and maybe in the form of pop-up shops, and really kind of putting myself out there. Also, I think it will be important for me in the next steps, as the project is coming to an end, to find ways to hold myself accountable. So through joining groups, possibly connecting with people, and different connections I've met throughout the class. What is a strong piece of advice you would have given yourself at the start, knowing what you know now? So mainly, I would say I would advise myself to focus on breaking down my goals into smaller daily tasks in order to kind of avoid feeling overwhelmed and feeling stuck. Also, I would focus on continuing to stay consistent on my goals, even with the feelings of uncertainty present. Lastly, I've realized that I benefit greatly, as mentioned before, from reevaluating my goals and journaling. So I would advise myself to continue to do that and set aside time to reevaluate and journal. What are your takeaways from ZON100, and what was the value of this course? I have many takeaways from this course, specifically the importance of starting and putting your ideas out there without them being perfect and or complete. This course is quite valuable because it allowed me to prioritize a project, and it really held me accountable with the project that I would normally not have been given as much importance to. It also forced me to put myself out there and do something that is more outside of my comfort zone. Also, with the support of the professor and students, there was a lot of good feedback, and it's helped me get different perspectives while having the encouragement to keep going forward with my project.